Hello and welcome. Today we're going to do journal entry examples. I've got about 15 journal entries that I want you to see so you understand how to make journal entries when you're working with accounting. Now remember, we use the dealer rules. So these are the rules to know what to debit and what to credit. So for example, the assets, anytime we have an asset and it goes up, we're going to debit that. Anytime it goes down, we're going to credit that account. So cash is our asset that we probably use the most. So if anytime we receive cash, we're going to debit cash. Anytime we pay cash, we will credit it. All right, so let's get started with journal entries. We have Ace Consulting, and it's a brand new business. I think for September is the month I'm using right now. So Ace receives $12,000 from Spencer Taylor in exchange for common stock. So what does the company get? The company, Ace Consulting, receives cash. So how much cash does that company receive? Well, $12,000. Now I've gone ahead and formatted for commas, and I've also used a formula to make sure our debits and credits equal, just to save us a little time. So what's the other side of that transaction? Remember double entry accounting. Every transaction affects two accounts. The debits and credits have to equal, and there's always going to be at least a debit account and at least one credit account. So I'm going to space over about 3 times, and this is going to be common stock. Common stock. Now, one thing we can do, and I'll show this a little bit later, but we could have the ledger account. Every account is represented by a T account. So the debits and credits, will add them up, and we'll figure out the balance of each account. All right, so we've got our first one done, so let's keep on going. So Ace purchases supplies for $1,500 cash. We're going to debit supplies, that's an asset. And we know we're paying cash, we credit cash, and the amount is $1,500. So that's the entry to show supplies is an asset that goes up, cash is an asset that goes down. If you don't understand this increase, decrease, and the debit and credit rules, check out our previous video on debits and credits using the dealer method, just to show you can understand how everything works. The next one down, Ace purchases equipment and pays $5,000 cash. There's 2 ways to do this. They can buy equipment and put it on account, or they can sign a note, so it's some kind of liability, or they can pay cash, which is an asset. So we're going to debit equipment because that is an asset that goes up, and the asset that goes down is cash, and the amount is $5,000. So if you look at this, you can say, oh, they purchased equipment for cash, $5,000. You can easily see this. This shorthand, this journal entry, is the same as this sentence. All right, so let's say Ace buys supplies for $2,000 on account. We know that's going to be $2,000. And so what do we debit? Well, supplies. We purchase supplies as an asset. And did we pay cash, or will we pay cash later on? Well, we purchase it on credit or on account. So therefore, we're going to say this is accounts payable. We have an obligation to pay cash later on, so accounts payable. We did not pay cash yet for this transaction of supplies. So this is an asset going up and a liability going up. Debits and credits still have to equal. All right, Ace provides consulting services to clients and receives immediately $4,500 of cash. So we're going to debit cash, that's what we received, and credit an account called service revenue. Our service revenue and our cash is in the amount of $4,500. So this is what we're in business for. We're trying to provide consulting services. So we debit cash, credit service revenue. Now the other side, the other type of transaction would be if we provide service and send them a bill, then we would set up, instead of cash, we would have accounts receivable, the right to receive cash. We'll see one in a minute. All right, the company Ace pays the September rent for $1,500. So we're going to say this is rent expense. Rent expense is an expense account that goes up with a debit. We're going to credit, we paid cash. So a lot of these transactions have cash. So if we receive cash, we debit cash. We pay cash, we credit it. So you can always see, like half of the transaction, then it's easier to get the other half of the transaction. So rent expense, debit, cash, credit. It says we've paid cash for rent expense. All right, ACE pays wages of $1,200 to its employees. So we're going to say this is wages expense and credit cash. If you're an employee, you want cash. You're not going to accept anything else. So this is $1,200, wage expense and cash. Wage expense goes up. Cash is an asset that goes down. All right, number 8, ACE provides consulting services for clients and then bills the clients $5,000. Now this is not a cash transaction, but it's still revenue. So what asset have we received? Well, we've received accounts receivable. Didn't spell it right. Accounts receivable. That's why a lot of times in problems you'll see it just abbreviated AR, accounts receivable. And then we have service revenue because we did the work. Revenue, by definition in accounting, is anytime you sell a product or service and you receive an asset. So we sold a service, we received an asset called accounts receivable. Number 9, ACE pays $800 on its accounts to the suppliers from transaction 4. Okay, we owe money. Let's go way back up here to number 4. We bought supplies and we have accounts payable. We bought supplies without having to pay cash, so we'll pay cash. And how much is the amount? We're paying $800. So the transaction amount is $800. We're going to debit accounts payable and credit cash. This shows we've taken cash and paid off accounts payable. Accounts payable is a liability that goes down. Cash is an asset that goes down. So this explains what happens in the sentence, in the transaction. Number 10, ACE receives $3,400 from a customer in transaction 8. So remember, they owe us money, so accounts receivable. So this is not revenue. We haven't done extra work. This is revenue when we earn it, but when we collect the cash, we're going to debit cash and credit accounts receivable. And the amount is $3,400. So here we've just collected cash on account in the amount of $3,400. So how much do they owe us? Well, they did owe us $5,000 and they've paid off $3,400. Looks like they still owe us $1,600. All right, item 11. ACE pays cash dividends to its owner for $250. So we're going to debit. We have a dividends account, and we're going to credit cash. We're paying cash, so always credit when you pay cash. And the amount is $250. So dividends and cash explains what happens here. Now, dividends is not an expense. It's a contra equity. It reduces equity. The owner can put money in. It's not revenue. The owner can take money out. It's not an expense. It's an owner transaction. All right, number 12. ACE receives $3,200 in advance from a customer for future consulting. Now, are you willing to let people pay ahead of time and prepay for consulting? Yes, you are. So you would say cash. And what's our credit? You're tempted to say service revenue, but revenue is revenue when you earn it. Have we earned it? We have not. So maybe we receive cash in September, and then in October we provide the work. We're happy to do that. Are you happy to get paid ahead of time? Yes, you are. And so this is called unearned revenue. What is unearned revenue? Well, revenue, you have to earn it. Unearned revenue, we owe them that service or we owe them that money back. So this is actually a liability. So unearned revenue is a liability. So cash goes up, it's an asset. Unearned revenue goes up, it's a liability. We owe them that service or that money back. All right, number 13, ACE pays $1,800 for 6 months of insurance coverage. Now, you're tempted to say insurance expense, but this is for 6 months of insurance coverage we're really buying an asset for 6 months. And so therefore we're going to use an account called Prepaid Insurance. This Prepaid Insurance is an asset account that goes up, and then cash is an asset that goes down. All right, so then over time in Chapter 3, when you start talking about adjusting entries, we'll adjust that month by month and have insurance expense each month. Even though we pay it every 6 months, we have an expense as we use it up every month. How much is the monthly expense? Well, 1800 divided by 6 is going to be $150 per month. All right, number 14, ACE buys supplies by paying cash. So supplies and cash, there's our debit and credit, 1100. So we have debit supplies, supplies an asset goes up. Cash obviously is an asset that goes down. All right, ACE pays its utilities expense for $400. So we call this utilities expense and credit cash. So that's our debit and that's our credit. Now, one thing we need to know is how to do the ledger. So this is the journal, all the original entries. The ledger is just simply listing all the accounts that we have and trying to figure out the balance. Now this is very kind of procedural. When you have a little manual system, you're doing it on paper, or you're doing it even on Excel, a spreadsheet. And so you figure out what is the balance of each account. Let me do a couple and then I'll show you, I'll skip ahead to do the final one. So let's go to our first couple of transactions. So ACE had the first transaction, cash and common stock. So we're going to debit cash and credit common stock for $12,000. So cash, debit cash for $12,000 and credit common stock for $12,000. Now I've set it up where I've auto-calculated the balance in each account. That's what we're trying to do. Let me do a couple more and you'll see how this works. So all you're trying to do is list all the debits and credits, and you don't subtotal it like I'm doing. I'm doing it because I have Excel, but you list all the debits and all the credits, and then you finally find the balance of each account. Next one, supplies and cash. Supplies goes up $1,500, cash goes down $1,500. So supplies, $1,500, cash, $1,500. All right, so you see how this works. You just do it for all 15 transactions. So what we have, let me get rid of this. What we have is we would have about 4 different debit transactions for cash, about 8 or 9 different credit transactions for cash. And to figure out the balance, it's just all the debits minus all the credits. And whatever side is larger, that's the balance. So for this one, I'll just do the sum of all the debits minus the sum of all the credits. So what is the balance of cash? So if we did it correctly, we put all the numbers in. You can go back and do this. You can pause the video and just do this by hand real quickly. And you'll find that cash has a balance of $9,550. It's a debit balance because the debits are larger than the credits. So I've got all the accounts. So I've got cash, accounts receivable, supplies, prepaid insurance, equipment. Those are all asset accounts. We have 2 liabilities, accounts payable and unearned revenue. We have 2 equity accounts, common stock and dividends. I've got 1 revenue account, service revenue. I've got 3 different expense accounts. Now the point of all this is, at this stage, we need to figure out what is our trial balance. And our trial balance is just taking all the accounts and listing them. So we have accounts with a debit balance. These are all our assets. These are our liabilities. These 2 are our equity. And then revenues. And then the last 3 expenses. All we're trying to do on a trial balance is to figure out, does the debits equal the credits? And if they do, then we know, we feel good about not making a mistake. If they don't equal, we've made a mistake in either recording, putting to the ledger, which is called posting to the ledger, or we've made an error in adding it up. So everything starts in accounting really with transactions and making these journal entries. This is the format of the journal entry that you'll use all through accounting. And then, you'd figure out the balance of each account with the ledger. And then you'd do the trial balance to make sure the debits and credits equal. Now, this is not a financial statement. The next thing we would do on a future video is to do the financial statements, the income statement, the balance sheet, and so on. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comments are helpful. And I've got a whole playlist, and I've got a whole articles on financial accounting to help you learn. Good luck with accounting. We'll see you in the next video.